Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Kevin Borland titled I Don't Write Love Songs. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen on YouTube. Now this is the music video for the song. Apparently it's the first pre-release single from Kevin's upcoming album, their 5th album, The Harvest. So it's pretty cool that they've released multiple albums at this point. It'd be interesting to see how they do, how they sound. And we're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Interesting to hit the piano on the side immediately. Strings on the other.
Tales of a perfect soulmate just make me cringe. It's not that I am insensitive, I just don't relate. I hear a touching melody and I start to grow irate. I don't write love songs, but if I did, I'd write you this one. I'd use words like stars and roses and hearts, and I know you'd sing along.
Let's just take a pause before what I assume is potentially going to be the chorus. I like the sense of humor we have with the vocals and the lyrics. It's also nice that we have the lyrics down here on the screen. There. I don't know if you'll be able to see all of them because I'm in the way, but just they're there if you want to go check out the video, the music video after this, which I would recommend at this point. It seems like a good time. But also just great use of the harpsichord as well as those interesting 16th note grooves in that bridge sections there. It's great to have segmented different tones per part. Great use of distorted guitars.
Sing along to my love song as I pour my heart out, go on. If you never did think that I would sink this low, then you were wrong. This is as close as I get now to letting my heart peek out. Hope it satisfies you or even makes you cry too.
I mean, it kind of reminds me with the delivery of these vocals of like Jack Black or someone like that. It seems like a very sincere, authentic performance. You know, it sounds like he genuinely doesn't really want to have to write a love song because they're just a little bit, again, as he said, they make him cringe, but this is how much this person means to them. I think the keys are really pretty. They're a staple of those kind of soppy love songs alongside the strings on the other side for that kind of arbitrary, kind of emotional depth. And the bass and drums keep putting it forward.
My raw emotional delivery, oh, a tale of gallant chivalry, oh, how I said God bless you when you sneezed. I don't write love songs, but if I did, I'd write you this one. I'd write cliche, gut-wrenching lyrics that would make you sing along.
I mean, this is a catchy, charming little hook melody in it.
Sing along to my love song as I pour my heart out, go on. If you never did think that I would sink this low, then you were wrong.
I mean, to be fair, it could be a guitar as well as a harpsichord. I just took that tone initially, but apologies if I'm incorrect there.
I don't write love songs, but if I did, I'd write you this one. I'd use words like stars and hugs and hearts, and I know you'd sing along.
Great legato technique.
This is your love song, just like Elton John. This is your love song. Now let's sing along, along. If I ever wrote a love song, I wouldn't make it too long, but it'd be full of sap and mushy crap, and we could sing along.
Great use of head voice there.
I don't write love songs, but since I did, I'm going to send this out to you.
Great way to finish. I thought we were going to go into another verse then, but it was unexpected how we concluded. I like it when an outro is just an outro and it's not an excuse to attack on another 30 seconds of stuff. I think we came in, we told the story we needed to, we had the instruments partaking in that same mode, and then we just went from there. It's good. And welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track by Kevin Borland titled I Don't Write Love Songs. Now, what do I think this track is about? Well, I think we've figured that out rather succinctly. The songwriter is not a massive fan of love songs, but this person makes them that they want this person they're writing it for to sing along with him. And I kind of adore that. I think there's a kind of a good-naturedness to that, you know. I get it, you know, love songs can be kind of cheesy sounding, but I don't think we had the situation here, in part because of the sense of humor that we displayed when we were discussing this stuff. I think it was fantastic how we kind of approached it from a more kind of like casual perspective there on the whole attempt. We didn't take ourselves too seriously with the story that we were trying to sort of like communicate. So that was great. I think that, you know, in addition to that, we kind of parodied the idea of singing along to a love song together, right? It was like a parody, but I think there's also some genuine intent there. But anyways, the vocals were great. I think that we sang in a way which was very approachable and accessible. We were comfortable in our head and chest voice. We had some really interesting legato sections there, and we knew what note choices and melodies and even harmonies to put in there, like in the chorus with like a different singer. Was that like a lady singer or something like that? Was there another singer at that point? I mean, either way, it's fine. It's just, it was interesting to have that different vocal timbre or texture there at that point to kind of separate the bridge from the chorus. And I think that Kevin did come in to harmonize at the end of each hook line, which was short. The hooks were short, but I think they were short and sweet. Just like the song in general, actually. I think the way we sang, the performance of it indicated that how we felt about love songs, but that we kind of accepted it was something that was going to need to occur, and that's fine. We came to peace to that. It's good stuff, so I can understand why we sang the way we did. The performance was solid and it made sense with the story. I think in addition to that, you know, we have the actual song itself, which at 2 minutes 53 is nice and short and, you know, nicely within that 2 to 4 minute sweet spot, so there was no issues there whatsoever. I think we had the pianos at the start on one side and the strings on the other, with the bass and drums coming in eventually and the distorted guitars coming in the hook. So we had a wide range of different elements within the arrangement, and none of them ever became too played out, quote, you know, excuse the pun. I think like that kind of like ballady kind of piano violin aesthetic in the verse transitioned well into the sort of neoclassical romanticism that was going on within the bridge. Then finally, of course, we had that the big old bulky distorted kind of cheesy loaf of a hook line in a love song chorus going on there with the big sounds and the higher octave voice vocals and all that. There were different ideas or concepts from different kind of tropes within the style of music we're writing, or the subject matter that we're writing, and we put them together really succinctly and neatly. I think with the individual instruments, like there was just a lot of diversity within the percussion. I liked the attention to detail there, and it wouldn't just gotta sort of skimp out with some eighths there on the grooves. The bass line, when the hook, for example, was nice and resonant within the root notes, they were supportive in that low end there. The guitars, which were mainly in the hook line, but there might have been some of those in like the bridge section if that wasn't a harpsichord, but just yeah, no, the sort of guitars were nice and thick sounding, playing power chords, and made sense with the subject matter and like the context. The piano had a really pretty melody that was going on the left side there with some chords occasionally and just arpeggiated really nicely, and the strings with the more sort of smooth whole tone kind of resonance there was a nice contrast and really supported the vocals in the verse really well. And then finally, there was a nice unison between the harpsichord part and the vocals in the bridge. They came in together at the same time and kind of notched up neatly in terms of the rhythm, which gave it a really sort of tight sound, and I enjoyed that quite a lot. It was like, you know, you could kind of tap your head along to it and kind of follow along to it really easy as a listener, and I think that was fantastic considering the contrast within the approaches of the sounds of the hook and the verse going with the bridge between, of course. But that's great. That's really impressive, to be honest. I don't really have any complaints about the theme there. I think that, again, it kind of almost parodied tropes of stuff going on with like love songs, whilst still creating a song that was basically a love song and one that wasn't cheesy. So I think we succeeded on all facets, and it shows the experience of Kevin Borland at this point in his musical career, having done this being on his 5th album, which is fantastic. Again, best of luck for the album release. Finally, with the performance settled and everything else making sense together and being well connected, we have the studio recording, the mixing and mastering, the production side of things, and I think the vocals were nice and clear. Whether they were like the harmonies in the bridge or like Kevin basically handling the bridges and verses. I think outside of that, any guitar parts, any drums, bass, keys, harpsichord, strings, etc. were nicely balanced in their respective sides of the stereo field, with the piano on the left and then strings on the right. The guitars being double tracked. As per par for the course with distorted guitars and rhythm and light rock music, you need to double track them, so that was smart. The bass and the drums filling in that low end and keeping the groove rolling along, things were well balanced, and there weren't any sort of resonant frequencies in the frequency spectrum, and there were no weird issues. Things were nice and, again, nice and wide in the stereo field, so the music surrounded you. There was dynamic range to this. It wasn't the same loudness all the time. Things went down a little bit in that outro to kind of relax and kind of things and kind of allowed the listener to just kind of like lead out in the same way the song did. And it was nice and loud without pumping though, so the limiting compression was also handled really well. I mean, all in all, I'm stoked with this track. I think it's a great introduction to Kevin Borland's work, and I wish him the best luck in future, because this is my review of Kevin Borland's track I Don't Write Love Songs, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show him some love via the various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.